Hello everybody, welcome back to another Starcraft Broodwar remastered cast. We've got SOO versus Speed, and this is a player who, if you're not familiar with Starcraft 2, probably won't catch your interest, but if you are a connoisseur of Starcraft 2, I was myself back in the Wings of Liberty days, and even a little bit into the Heart of Swarm days. Kind of lost my interest after that, but I know this guy has performed at the highest level for many, many years. SOO is a common name in the Korean Starcraft 2 scene, but he's starting to make waves as he returns to the Brood War scene, as many Starcraft 2 players have. He is struggling, however, so we're going to be taking a look at his performance, playing his normal race, the race that he played in Starcraft 2 as well. He's playing Zerg. And, you know, he's been also competing in a few Pro League tournaments. Hasn't been doing the best, but he is competing. It's similar to like TY, if you guys remember when TY came back into Brood War. He, of course, one of the most accomplished StarCraft 2 players of all time, had a struggle returning to Brood War, had a struggle kind of adapting to the way Brood War is played, and caught a lot of criticism from StarCraft 1 players. If you haven't seen any videos about it, I believe Jin 5000 has a video specifically about TY and how other players were criticizing his kind of drop heavy style, the way that he tries to basically just spam dropships. Oh, looking for some damage on that Marine, but SOO not quick enough to get some shots off there. Generally, you can get about 2 shots onto that Marine before being forced to back away, but he's going to back away here without getting any damage onto that. And so Speed will start to rally across the map. He may be able to force this drone off the mineral line in the natural. He may even kill that if SOO's not careful. So we're looking to see where this Marine goes. It'll actually head back home, it seems. Gonna group up with that second Marine. No wall in the front. You're on Deja Vu for our Terran player. It looks like players are starting to adapt already. By the way, these are very recent games. Players are starting to adapt already because they know that in the most recent iteration of Deja Vu, it's going to be very hard to wall in. There's like some extra doodads on the corners there. So already practicing, just getting set up in the entryway in the natural without walling. I think it's a great idea for players like Speed to just start doing that already in preparation for things like SSL. No major aggression has happened so far. We've got 4 Marines and 4 Lings sitting on their respective high grounds. And a 2.5 hatch build is underway for SOO. He's navigated this early game reasonably well. Only building 4 Lings is a very acceptable position. He's managed to also sneak the Overlord over this very dangerous gap. Had the Marines moved over to that location, they might have been able to catch the Overlord moving into position, but now that the Overlord is here next to the natural, it's going to give him some great information about when the move out happens and what's the plan here for our Terran. I don't see an eBay just yet. Just going to start the stim pack. So he went for the quicker double barracks and the later stim pack. That's not as common anymore, but it was very common in the past. Players would try to hit this timing where stim is just finishing up as you're moving out with 2 medics at around that 5-minute mark, but it looks like he won't move out. Being a little bit overly cautious. Got 12 Marines already. But as the Mutalisks come out, he will not have range for quite some time, so keep that in mind. Engineering Bay is coming up. That 3rd Rax is being added on. This is an interesting alternate to a more standard build for speed. He's got a lot of Marines ready to push. But SOO does not blink. He just continues along his build path with only 4 Lings there. That's not going to be able to delay these Marines hardly at all. But he hasn't built any panic sunken colonies at all. Not afraid of this Marine force. +1 starts. There's a range as well. It's going to be pretty scary with 3 medics already. 4 medics, excuse me, and more than 12 Marines. No, 12 Marines right now. But some more will be popping out here shortly. You really do have to take this seriously. Even 2 sunken colonies will not stop that. 2 sunken colonies and a bunch of Lings will usually stop a Marine push out of this size. But with 4 medics, you can just stand there and tank the sunken shots for a long time. So you need around 4 sunken colonies just to barely survive. So he has to stay here with his Mutalisks and deal with this. Back at home, turrets have come up, but a very low number of turrets. Not that many, only 3 in the natural, 1 in the main, 2 over the barracks. He's utilizing this pressure to alleviate pressure back at home. Those are going to go for some swipes now. Good target on this one, but Lings are going to come in now too. He's able to pick this off. 1 Mutalisk goes down. Wow, this is a great cleanup for SOO. I would have thought that this Marine medic group would have done much better with 4 medics and 12 Marines. Stim and range were done. I think he only killed, what, 1 Mutalisk in that stack. Very good cleanup for SOO, and he's got his 3rd base going. He immediately starts his transition. This is all looking very good for SOO. But let's see how he can handle this mid game, because the early game is not Speed's strong suit. It's that middling time when the vessels are out and dropships become a real threat. That's when Speed becomes one of the scariest monsters on the ladder. So those starports are about to finish up now. Double starport science facility on the way. Is he actually going to try and dive this? 12 mutas and a handful of Lings. Probably shouldn't be enough to actually beat all of these Marines. That's so many Marines. Only 2 medics though. If he continues to harass this army and lower the energy on these medics by forcing stims, then there is a pretty good chance that those medics will run out of energy, and there might be an opportunity to dive in with even that small number of Lings and mutas. Just wipe out this entire bioforce. You can see a lot of this bio is not fully healed, and there's all the medic energy going down the drain. Another medic comes out. SOO not as aggressive as I'd like to see though. Forcing out those stims and just keeping that medic energy low would give him that opportunity, but he's not really doing that. He's just kind of flying around the outside. I haven't seen a stim be forced, and you can see that Speed is being very conservative with those stims. He doesn't want to throw them out willy-nilly anymore, as he knows he only has a little bit of energy left. Another medic makes its way to the front. This bioforce is getting quite scary. It's 5 racks pumping, but 6 lurkers are on the way, so he will be safe. And I believe we're going to go into a lurker defiler style of gameplay from here. SOO opting for this base, which is much more difficult to defend than a high ground base. Kind of necessitates the lurker Hydra defiler style, because you need to have a mobile army in order to push and take another base. Either the top left or the bottom right will be his next option. So stacking up the lurkers. The defiler mounts on the way. I don't see any fire bats with this. It'll just be irradiates trying to chop through those lurkers. He might try to break this. You know, it's very difficult to defend both sides at the same time, especially when irradiates start coming out and just messing with you. And so Speed is going to move to this kind of awkward location. Over on the right-hand side, he might be able to run along this way. Oh, that's a great irradiate. Oh my gosh, that does so much damage. Yeah, he can run along this right-hand side. And it's going to make the lurker spine split up a lot. We have some reinforcements coming up, and the mutas are going to clear out everything. All the lurkers are gone, but it's a little bit too late. And both vessels will fall as well. So what looked like a pretty decent attack actually falls flat. Without that +1 armor, the 2 shots from the lurkers are going to kill. Uh-oh, he didn't bring his lurkers up, though. That's a little bit scary. He's got 1 lurker next to the sunken colony. And the sunken colony is very low. Lings are going to be sent up with the mutas in conjunction. Looks like he will clear everything. I'd love to see him chase down that science vessel. Killing that is huge, but more marines are going to come up. They're probably going to be able to save. A lot of these mutas are very low. Okay. Buying that time for the science vessel to run back. But now defilers are out. Hydras are going to start to pump as well. Doesn't have Hydraless range or... Oh, wait. He might have range, but he doesn't have speed. That's for sure. So without Hydraless speed, I'm a little bit worried. Actually needs to get that upgrade rolling here as soon as possible. Plague is about halfway complete. Armor and attack on the way. +1 armor is done. And +1 attack for these lurkers and hydras is going to come up soon. He's buying time with these lurkers while he pushes towards the natural. This is a big, scary push with 2 defilers that are full energy. Oh, can he kill the 1 defiler? Dark Swarm, he needs the Dark Swarm. Oh, he gets the Dark Swarm, and GG is called. Speed misses that army moving around the left-hand side. He really tried for it here at the 3rd base as well, and SOO takes a quick victory over Speed. Guys, we've got a ZVP to follow this one up, so don't go anywhere. Jumping right in. Next game with SOO, we've got SOO versus Motive spawning in the bottom right-hand corner. You guys all know him. A little bit more about SOO, though. He has put together about $500,000 worth of tournament winnings over his career in StarCraft 2. He was also briefly a caster in 2019. Take a look at his Wikipedia page. It is massive. The dude has an entire novel or a novella written about him. Not quite a full-on novel, but it's close. He's been around for quite a long time now. Making the switch over to Broodwar, it's not easy, but he did manage to beat Speed in that last game, which is not a small accomplishment. And I think he did so with some pretty reasonable strong play. It's not like he completely caught Speed off guard with some sort of cheesy play. He just handled everything well. He had a very good setup at his 3rd base that Speed thought he could challenge, but turned out he was wrong. SOO then follows up with the Defiler push and gets the Defiler right into the natural. It's about as standard as it gets for a ZVT when it comes to a Hydraless Defiler play. That's exactly what you're looking for. We're taking his 3rd base over at the top center, and there are zealots on the map. Not going to start hitting that hatchery just yet. Motive gonna pull his zealot back. Doesn't have the probe in just yet to see how many lings are hatching, so he doesn't want to risk losing that early zealot. Has the 3rd one on the way, along with the Nexus. We're taking his gas here very soon. And likewise, SOO gonna take his gas. I don't think he's actually seen the build just yet, but he did produce 6 lings. Leaving 1 of those to chase is gonna be fine, and utilizing the others to go and pick off that zealot potentially. Okay, there's the zealot coming in. It's gonna start to hit the hatchery. Oh, he gets the probe. It's around there. Motive maybe making a little bit of a mistake. But SOO, he gets the kill. He forgets the 1 ling. This happens to me a lot. I break off the 1 ling to chase the probe, and then we kill the probe, and I just forget about the ling in the main, or the ling wherever it is when we kill the probe. But it's not gonna affect anything too massive, I don't think. All these zealots will just hide behind, right in that corner there. Take the best trade possible. And so he'll wait until he's got plenty of lings to eventually clear that up. Did the right thing. Here's SOO making extra lings and sending them to his natural. He sees the zealots back at home though, so he knows that he can send these out now. Send them over to help clear out those zealots, or I guess he might counterattack. The cannon's on the way though. It's going to be done here super soon, so even if he runs over here and starts attacking one of these zealots, there's no way he kills the zealot or the wall before the cannon's done. That's the way she goes. Zealots thinking about coming out to kill this drone. Might be a bit of a mistake though. Hit the cybernetic score for now. That will end as the cannon finishes, however. That's a lot of lings to have made just to kill these two zealots. Of course, it will allow him to just drone very heavily after. Can't be losing any drones right now. That is for sure. Gotta keep all of these alive. Hit the zealots from both sides. Like quite a few kills on these zealots. Going up to about 5, 6 kills total. 7. He gets 7 lings for just the 2 zealots. It's so cost efficient putting your zealots back there. But if you try to pull drones and get them to dance on top of the zealots, you may just lose a drone, and you're definitely gonna lose the mining time. So there's no real better way to clean that as a Zerg player. He's got the spire just about complete. There's your 4th and 5th hatchery. And so motive, I mean, he's going to be pretty happy with the way things have gone so far. It's not like he has a massive lead or anything, but he forced a lot of lings. He traded well, and he didn't take any damage back at home. So I would say motive, he's content for the moment to just send his Corsairs and go find out what's going on, what's coming on the side of SOO. Unfortunately, Overlord pops out now. A lot of really powerful Zerg players, like you might see Hero Action or Solkey do this, is they get their Overlords a little bit early and they send them out on the map to make sure that they don't get sniped. Like they'll hide their Overlords around the map, and this first Corsair won't find anything. At least until Scourge are already out to defend. So he's actually going to lose 2 Overlords. This is totally standard. I don't really understand how players like Solkey manage to do that, how they manage to get their Overlords to a spot so consistently where the Corsairs can't find them. They're very good at that hide and seek game, but they've just been doing it for so long. And they've had so much back and forth between them and the Protoss players that they really know the spots that the Protoss look, and the Protoss don't have that much time to go and search if the Spire is in the at the right time. So somehow able to avoid those losses makes a big difference. Now this Zealot attack is quite scary. This is a pretty concerted attack, and with only 2 mutas that are out already, that Sunken Colony is going to go down super fast. Would love to have some lings back at home to actually help defend that Sunken Colony. Very important to have some defenses to try and help that building. But he didn't have it. He didn't have the lings in position. Motive managed to find a hole. He ran those zealots out, and now he's running all over the place. To be killing Overlords here at this main base, or sorry, 3rd base. Main base, Spire is going down. Natural, a Zealot is doing some work. It's like he gets 1 kill. That's 2 drones before he dies. Finally the Zealots have been cleaned. There's 42 drones remaining. That's actually not too bad. 42 drones after all of that harassment. Really reasonable, but he lost his Spire, which is near crippling damage. That's really gonna slow down SOO a lot. It's gonna prevent him from making Scourge for a long time, and if He just continues to make Corsairs. We're gonna see like 9 Corsairs move out with a DT. That is scary. He makes a Spore Colony. I actually love this. This is so smart. SOO, the brain on this guy. You can tell why he became such a powerful Zerg player in StarCraft 2. Why he's so accomplished. Immediately realizing what's his weakness and what his opponent might be planning to do. He's going to make another Sunken Colony at the natural. He knows this Archon DT Corsair push is coming. And so he gets the right... They're not the greatest control there, but he gets some good shots. Okay, not bad at all. I thought that was going to go way worse, but look, there's only 5 Corsairs left after that. Which is quite wild. Like, he had like 8 Corsairs? So he ended up killing 3. Very good stuff for SOO. Have a building to block at this position. Would love to see him just throw down an extra Evo chamber there. But his Hydra count is getting higher and higher, so the threat of these Zealots in this Archon with 2 Sunken Colonies and pretty decent SimCity over here, even better SimCity with the Sunken Colony way in the back. Probably Motive not going to break that. Good chance he is just going to be driven back, so maybe not totally important to get an extra Evo chamber there. Should have speed. Okay, he just starts it as he sees the DT. That's quite late. See, the 3rd base is coming up, and there's going to be a ton of cannons here. Really no option to counterattack, and really difficult to take a 4th base in a situation like this. You can see he can definitely go up to 50 drones or something, right? Around 55 is where you can thrive on 4 bases, excuse me. But he can't really take an extra base for a little while, and that's going to hurt him quite badly. The lack of speed, Overlord speed, is something that a lot of players will miss when the game gets chaotic. Like what we saw earlier with Zealots running in everywhere and dealing that damage. Some of these Corsairs are a little bit bruised, and it seems like he's stopped making Corsairs behind this, thinking that there's probably no further Mutalisk going to be made, but could be a wrong choice. That might be incorrect decision making. We have armor on the way, the Flyer Carapace, so there could be a giant switch into Mutas, although it's unlikely with a Lurker upgrade on the way. I'm a little bit surprised we don't see, even at 12 minutes, no 4th base. That is very late. I think we're going to have a massive attack from SOO. Otherwise, he's just going to kind of fade out of this game with such a late 4th. It's going to be very difficult for him going forward. +1 is done. Comes up to trade. It's 1-1 finished for Motive. And his army is looking very good. That's a lot of Templar. Has he saved a Templar at this base? No, he has not. The Mutas are looking for some damage, but the Corsairs are there to prevent that. Well, here he goes. He's just going to dive in, try to get as many kills as he can. Ah! Not the greatest control there from SOO, and he gets not even 1 High Templar for all of his Mutas. Still no 4th base. We're at 13 minutes. This is an extremely late 3rd if he decides to take it. I think Motive, if the game continues on as it's been going, he's probably just going to win this game. The Lurker's running up now. There's the Overlord in the group. Great storm there. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Everything getting absolutely wiped out. Looks like this army is going to fare a little bit better. Just pure Hydra versus Zealot and Archon. Going to go quite well, but not well enough, it seems. The +2 armor helping out these Zealots just cleave through. 10 kill Archon there. You can see it. These Zealots just body blocking for the Archon, doing mass damage. And yeah, just a poor engagement there. So SOO, I mean, you can see that he still has a long way to go I heard some people getting excited. Oh my god, SOO's back, SOO's back. We got to take a look for ourselves to see what kind of condition he's really in. I saw him play some Pro League and I wasn't too excited about it. I thought that he was a little bit rusty, or I don't know if you can even call it rust since he's been playing StarCraft 2 for so long. I must have played StarCraft 1 at some point, but he's certainly not well practiced. And you can see that here. His game versus motive. Getting caught off guard by the Zealot run by. Struggling to put together his economy. It seemed like he had some good ideas. He definitely got that spore colony at the right time. I thought that was really smart of him. But never was really able to get his 4th base online. Seems like he's not practiced in the late game of ZVP. I could be wrong about that, but let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. If you've seen some other games of SOO and Brood War so far that you'd like to share, let me know. I'll see you guys in the next video.